All right, sorry for the background noise. I'm going to go over as quickly as possible how I set up this LAN device from Shop Floor Automations. Now, the background is I have a 98 Haas VF2. It has obviously serial port. That's the pre-NGC control. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you over to the machine. I'll give you a very quick rundown of how I set everything up. Okay, so here is the machine. What I've gone and done is they supply you with this aluminum bracket here. And what I had done was I drilled and tapped a bracket on the sides, put 2 holes in here in my cover, and I just 1032 or 1024 into it. I think there's a hole here, I forgot what it was for, but I put a grommet in there and you run your phone wire in here. I took out the floppy and I made a bracket. I bent it up and put some capture screws into it. If you come around here, you'll see. Here is the LAN device. And the reason why it's mounted in the back of the control panel here is because of the cable, the phone cable. That can only be a certain amount of length, so it's not long enough to reach in the back control panel of the Haas, so therefore I mounted the LAN device in here because of, they tell you, voltage. What I had to do was, this white wire is my main Ethernet. This is in and out to my network. I have it running to one PC right now. This is the adapter, so you got your Ethernet, Cat5, running back to the adapter port, serial port on the back of the machine. So as you can see here, we have the serial port here, and the black cable running to the LAN device, and then my Ethernet. I've just poked a hole to the back of the cover here, the boom, that whole wire chase for the Haas, and ran it down. And this is going to my network, and then to the Shop Floor Automation serial LAN device here. And that's in port 1. So coming back to this, after you get it mounted, you need power, right? In this Haas, I believe for a good range, I'm not too certain. Inside the Haas control panel has a power supply, and it's a PC power supply. So it has, I think it's a 400 watt, and it powers all this basic stuff here, these boards, I'd imagine, the brain for the Haas. Off of it, since it's a basic PC power supply, it has the 4-pin. I forgot the name of them. 4-pin connector, your basic connector for a PC desktop power supply. And with the LAN device here, it's 12 or 24 volt DC. So all I did was I ran this gray wire, double strand, protected wire back into the Haas panel. And I had a old PC fan, and I took the connector off of it, soldered it up, and now I get my 12 volt out of that. In the Haas control panel, there is a low voltage panel, 12 volt panel on their own on Haas's side, but I wasn't going there. I wasn't going to risk, who knows? I wasn't going to take the chance. And once I saw that 400 watt power supply for a PC, I said, sweet. So I took the advantage of an open port that they had on there. You know, those if you know desktop computers or power supplies, they have several open ends that you can use. So. All right, so we're going to get into the programming of this. Now, you need to know your IP address. That's pretty simple, especially on a PC. You're going to go to the command prompt. You're going to type in ipconfig, and it's going to give you everything you need. Okay, once you do that, and if you need to know what that is, just go search YouTube for that IP. Find my IP address for Windows, whatever. So once you have that, you're going to we'll get over to the computer here, and I'll show you how I had to set it up. The LAN device is going to give you a card. Now, bear with. They're going to give you a card here, and that's going to plug in, pop in right there. So this is a 8 gig SD card. So when you get that, you're gonna have it all set up here. Okay, I have the power not connected yet because my Haas is on. And let's go over to the computer and I'll show you exactly what we have to do. All right, we're back. So we have our device, our card, right? Shop Floor Automation is either going to send the card here with an INI file. Now, from my best understanding, is the INI file is whatever it does. It's pretty much essentially where you can write this card with an IP address, and it's going to understand it. You're going to need your gateway. You're going to need your gateway IP and all this stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this card into the SD card reader on my PC. Don't worry about this. So now we have our LAN device here. Okay. LAN CNC, this is the file. Now sometimes what happened to me is that they didn't send it on here. All they do is just email you the file, the INI file. So this is that card. I'm looking at that card. Removable disk F is what my PC is going to call it. Okay. Once you find out what your IP address is, I think there's 4 different things. So let's go review these. Okay. Let's open this first. Now I'm going to use 2 different words here when it comes to viewing or writing this. It's open or edit. Okay. Opening. I open it up. I can see here. This is my IP address here, and let's get a little closer. Okay, this is the one I'm using right now, and mask ID. This is a very basic IP address, 192.168.1.125, and IP mask. I think pretty much generally that's what you're going to see, but you can find all that out by logging into your router and or IP config in the command prompt on your Windows PC. And then your gateway is usually, this is what I see. Now you can't just label when you do the IP address, you do 192.168 whatever it is .1. Now the last 3 digits are what's important. You can find out what what the PC that you're on or any other PCs in the network have, if it's a static or a dynamic IP. You can't obviously write this SD card with the same IP address that you have on a computer, or especially this one. Usually they change, but on this one it's not. So obviously that's a big thing. So usually a good safe number, you'll see most of the PCs at a 150, 156, 158, you know. So I wrote this one at 125. Now, I'm just viewing this, okay? So you guys can see what it is. Now we're going to close it out. I'm going to right click. Now when you get all that information, this is the step you're going to do. You're going to right click this, okay? You're going to go down to edit. That's the important thing. Once you go to edit, you're going to change all this information. You'll see here that, so we can get you zoomed in. You'll see here that the IP address with the equal sign, everything after that you change. It may not come with anything. It may come with a bunch of zeros, or it may come with 000.000.0.0. Okay? The DNS, that stays the same, I believe. I've never changed that, but these first 3 are what you're going to need to change. Okay? In corresponding with your PC and your network. So, we have all that information. That's done. Okay? Now, we change this information. We're in edit. We right-click the file they give us, and we click edit. Then we change this information. We're going to go to File, Save. That's it. Close it out. Now that SD card is written with the correct information and saved as an INI file. So all you do is saving the edits that you've done. You cannot open this, make changes, and save it. It doesn't work. You have to edit this program. Because if you go to save it or save as, it's going to save it as a notepad, as a basic text file, and it doesn't work. So now we have that, and what we're going to do is we then take the card out of the SD slot in our PC that we just configured it. We're going to put it into the LAN device in the in the machine here. So let's do that real quick. All right, so it's very important. The power's off on the LAN device. I went over, I installed the SD card in, I restored power to the LAN device, okay? That's critical. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come to our, in Windows, you're going to have a libraries tab here. Windows 10 is a little bit different, but generally the same. On computer, okay, this is Windows 7, you're going to right click and you're going to add a network location, okay? Now we're getting into this setup so that we can drop files into the LAN device, okay, on our CNC without having to walk back and forth with a card or whatever. So we could do everything here on the PC to the remote CNC. So we went to computer, right clicked, add network location, hit next. Choose a custom network location, hit next. This is where you need to type in FTP, okay? :// and the address 192.168.1.125, okay? You click that, all right? You're gonna hit next, specify username or password. You could do that or whatever you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that so that nobody can log on to my FTP, or actually I'll just change it. I'll just change the last 3 digits and then nobody will know what it is, so it's not that difficult. Next, you can give a name. You can change this. I leave it. Just it's got one machine on here. You can change the name. It's just a little easier. It doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. Haas, VF2, MyCNC, whatever you want. Next, and when you hit finish, it's it. You hit finish, it's done. I'm not going to go ahead and do it here. And then that's it. So once I click on it, I'm here. That's it. That's my Haas right there. So we could do a little test here. We'll go to Documents. Okay, let's do Fusion Drop. Just pick a file that I've done. I'll click on it, run over. I'll drop it. Okay. Everything looks good. If there was an issue with the address or something going on, it won't allow you to do that. It'll actually just have an aneurysm pretty much, because it'll Windows Explorer will start acting funny. So, and then if everything is right, but somehow the communication is wrong, bot rate or whatever it is, okay, and you'll set all that stuff up. Excuse me, not bot rate, but if something is wrong communication-wise, when you typed in the address wrong, or there's this is the key thing, there's a setting that's not correct on Windows, some type of networking issue on the other side. I can't help you there, everybody's different, but I know I had a hiccup in the beginning with Windows Explorer and with the settings I had on the PC. There's a whole other issue with FTP settings. You could Google that or YouTube that and you'll find for open FTP settings, the basic settings where you could find to go correct them, to make sure they're correct. Basic Windows, if you haven't messed with any of that stuff or any other programs haven't altered that, you should be fine, but you can YouTube it and FTP settings and how to adjust them and how to send files over FTP. So if you YouTube FTP, it should help you. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, but it should work. So now, get back to it. We just dragged and clicked a file in. So let's go see how to pull it up in the Shuffle Automations LAN device on the machine. All right, so we're back in the machine. This is what it should look like. And one thing I'm going to mention here is I'm going to unplug this real quick and I'll turn it back on, and I want to show you an important step that you need to make sure that it's done right. So hold on one sec. Okay, I've just repowered it. It's going to flash up here in 1 sec. Okay, right there, 192.168.1.125. It's going to go away. You need to look for that. It obviously doesn't stay there that long. You need to look for that to make sure that your IP address is correct, so that you know you wrote the SD card, the INI file is correct. So that's the important thing to look for every time when you set it up originally, you turn it on, you look for that. That's important. And that's going to be specifically to your network and what you wrote it as. So let's go down. So when you get it, it's going to default to this, to little dots, the little greater and equal signs here. So we're going to scroll down, okay, file to CNC. And this varies for every other typical machine, but on this Haas, this is how it's going to work. So there it is, 4545. We were at the PC, we put it in, and now it's there. And on a Haas, now in any machine with baud rate, the best thing, the analogy that they use is in baseball is a pitcher and a catcher. So the catcher needs to be ready first before the pitcher throws the ball. Okay, so what we have to do, and this is just in a Haas, and this is going to vary for everybody, you'll go to list program. We're here. We're going to go to all, make sure all is highlighted. Okay, and then we're going to hit receive, waiting for that. So that's important, and then we come down here, we hit enter, and then start. This is giving me an alarm because I've reset the machine before. For some reason, if you notice that, not a big deal. It says empty program. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it has. That always happens for me. So since I've had to redo it, this is the issue. So we'll go here, list program, receive. So for some reason, every time I turn my machine on, I'll get those codes. It's very bizarre. I don't know why. You won't get as many. The only reason why that happened is because the Haas was on while I was doing all this. So there we go. There's my file in there. I'm good to go. Yeah, and you should never have that issue again. So let's go ahead and we'll just erase this program. Yes. Receive it first. And then we'll come down here and we'll hit start. So there, you never got any error in the beginning. So for some reason, with the Haas and the software automations issue is when it's first turned on. For some reason, the first program you go to try to send from the LAN device to here, so we're good to go. It just gives me those funny RS-232 codes. So now to set this up, come down here to set this up. It's pretty self-explanatory. You'll have baud rates. That's what it is there. Data separation 7 even 1. I mean, that's stuff is pretty. Flow control on off, SW on off. And then you'll have to, in your Haas, you're in your setting graph here, you'll see here we have right, so we have baud rate, even, stop bits, data bits, all that stuff right there. That has to coincide with the settings that you set here, or else obviously it won't work. So there's always a delay and all these things that you'll have to go through when you're setting up your device here. So I hope that helps. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Subscribe, like this video. If I've done something wrong, please call me out on it. And